Okay, so it's Wednesday night. This book just kind of falls off the shelf, which, whatever. Sometimes all the books fall down, but not usually one of the books falls down. And I've had this book for many, many, many years. It was published in 2005, and I've had it because it talks about Egyptian healing techniques. And in preparing, I thought, oh, we're gonna. In my mind, I was like, oh, we're gonna do what we're gonna do today, and you'll see what we're gonna do today in a second. And then I just thought I was sitting there yesterday, and I was like, well, how am I going to explain? And I opened to the foreword of this book, and it just helped me. It brought me so much peace with the transformation that we're going through. Because part of me's been saying all along, guys, the big change is coming. Get excited, and then we're all looking at each other right now, being like, shut the front door. How is this good? So I want to read you something. I want to read you the forward, and then we're going to do a little presentation, and then we're going to do this practice. Okay. So he says, the world is changing in a special way. Humanity is raising its consciousness to a greater light. This is written in 2005. This means that many people's personal vibrations have increased to a new spiritual level. Simply put, you are now using more parts of your brain that are linked to psychic and spiritual attributes. This is the start of true enlightenment. And the astrology dictates that we are going to go through a renaissance. Not the next 6 months. Next 6 months. Okay. In the near future, earthly science will understand all of this. Along with the raising of human consciousness, the energy or vibration of the planet has risen dramatically. This has allowed our earthly realm to develop a nearness to heaven, or more accurately, the heavenly fields. It is much closer to Earth than you realize. In the past, there was great distance between these two realms. This made it more difficult for people to continue. Oh, hold on, I need to let people in. This made it more difficult for people to commune with angels, spirit guides, and other light beings associated with the heavenly realm. These two events, the raising of Earth's vibrations and the raising of human consciousness, are creating wonderful possibilities for many people. This indicates that it is far easier to meet and work with angels and spirit guides. There's more opportunity than ever before to communicate with heavenly messengers, spiritual teachers, angelic healers, and other representatives of the hierarchy of the heavenly fields. This is not your imagination. Please pay attention to what you hear inside and what you feel in your heart. As you become more spiritually and psychically advanced in life, you will begin to realize certain truths pertaining to heaven and earth. Everyone has his or her own spiritual path to follow. Religion is one of those paths that can lead many people back to the creator or God source. However, a religion or spiritual belief based on a male-dominated or patriarchal system is incomplete and unbalanced. Humanity is represented by both sexes. Life is created and thrives in the male and female energies. The very survival of our species depends on these two aspects working together in harmony. A religion should fully reflect this concept in its doctrine. In the heavenly fields, the male and female can be found in God or the Creator. Our supreme being is both Father and Mother. Our Father in heaven would be better described as our Father and Mother in heaven. The divine essence of the heavenly fields needs both these energies to flourish. Why would the earthly realm be any different? As the old adage says, as above, so below. The same principle is true in regards to ancient healing techniques. Both male and female energies, sometimes referred to as yin and yang, are important for true healing to manifest. The Master Jesus taught this concept to many men and women who became his students and disciples. This included members of his family. His decision to teach his knowledge and hidden secrets to both sexes 2,000 years ago went against traditions of that time and place. This was accomplished through his own secret society. There's a channel book about that I can refer you guys to. In his book, The Secret Doctrines of Jesus, H. Spencer Lewis, late imperator of the Rosicrucians, refers to this, that among the 120 members were not those who were later known as the 12 disciples and who constituted the secret executive committee of the secret society, but also others who were interested in the mysteries, the secret work of this society, including the mother of Jesus and his brothers and sisters. Unfortunately, biblical history tends to ignore this fact, which I've said a lot, which is kind of funny because I remember writing the Bible back and forth when I was a kid, and I was always like, why don't we know what Jesus did up between when he was an infant and when he has his rite of passage? Okay, we're getting to the punchline, but I just wanted to read you guys the whole thing because I think it's worth kind of helping us settle into the energies. The written records, called the Gospels of the New Testament, mention several women as being associated with Jesus. Along with Mother Mary, there was Mary Magdalene. She worked as an energy healer and an herbalist. This is what this channel book says. There's male and female disciples, and Mary Magdalene is Jesus's divine counterpart. She's not a prostitute. Okay, let me keep reading. As the Gospels wrongly portrayed her, she was closely associated with Jesus, who trained her in the ancient mysteries. Mary Magdalene used her secret knowledge and gifts and became a wonderful healer. The close connection between her and the Master Jesus is also referred to in my previous book, Ancient Teachings for Beginners. There's another matter that should be discussed at this time. A power struggle between the forces of good and evil is culminating in the not too distant future. Many of you will see this in your lifetimes. The spiritual teacher Zoroaster spoke of the battle between the sons of light and the sons of darkness, almost 500 years before Christ. The ancient Persians, who followed the teachings of this master teacher, believed in a god of light and goodness. This deity was known as Mithra. The Magi, associated with the ancient Persians, were a group of wise philosophers and astronomers. They fully embraced these same ancient teachings and beliefs. The story of the three wise men or Magi mentioned in the New Testament is probably based on these well-known scholars. As a master teacher, Jesus made allusions to the same struggle during his ministry. Similar statements can be found in certain texts of the Dead Sea Scrolls, as per this example, and this is the quote. The first attack of the sons of light shall be undertaken against the forces of the sons of darkness. There are many doomsayers who use the book of Revelation in the Bible to proclaim a terrible future for us all. Several religious groups believe an end is near. The proclamations of gloom and doom need not be so. As more people become initiated or enlightened, they attune themselves to the Creator or God source. A wonderful transformation, not an end, will be the ultimate outcome. As stated, humanity has raised its consciousness. A major spiritual awakening has arisen. A search for spiritual truth stirs in your souls. As this occurs, more of you will refrain from actions that are of a negative and unbeneficial nature. You will change and develop in more loving ways. And this is where he quotes Zoroaster. If in doubt, if an action is just, please abstain. Truth, hidden knowledge, and ancient secrets kept from the masses in the past are now being revealed to humanity as it becomes more enlightened. As you awaken and start to use more of your mind power and psychic abilities, the secrets and hidden mysteries will be unveiled to you. In the following pages of ancient teaching, unique lessons that originated in ancient times from mystery schools and healing temples will be covered in detail. These wonderful places of learning existed in the lands of Egypt, Persia, and other areas. Jesus was one of many whom embraced these teachings. These lessons or teachings are specifically designed to help you become professional energy healers, medical intuitives, spiritual counselors, and teachers. You may find yourselves embracing all of some of these careers. As you use more of your psychic and spiritual abilities, you will work with your spirit helpers and angels. Also, you will help raise the vibrations or consciousness of many individuals. This will result in a larger portion of humanity being quote unquote enlightened, and thus the sons and daughters of light will triumph over darkness and evil. After reflecting upon the message just given to you, the following short account will help put everything into perspective. Let your mind open up and enjoy the event. It is 3,000 years ago in the land of ancient Egypt. Imagine yourself there as an initiated student belonging to one of the mystery schools and healing temples. For many years, you have studied the ancient mysteries along with special healing techniques. You can remember that night several years ago, the night you stood before the Great Sphinx. It was here at this sacred place that you and many others were initiated into the mystery school through a ritual called the first initiation. A priest dressed in a white robe, standing next to the burning altar, looked upon each and every one of you. That was the beginning of your studies in the ancient mysteries. It was also the beginning of your lifelong spiritual journey. Now, years later, you've achieved your goals. You've become more spiritually awakened. Many of your psychic abilities have opened up like a flower to the sun. You've become one of the initiated. You are ready for advanced training in the mystery school and healing temple. The living waters of the Nile flow by the complex as you lean against a large column, allowing your mind to dream. So I find that interesting because it lends a lens. You know, I'm teaching this astrology course, and I've always taken comfort in astrology, and astrology tells us about what we're experiencing right now. And then this book, I just thought was so neat because I don't know if anybody has any comments on it, but I just feel like it kind of helps us open up to the reasons why we're here and the bigger picture and the why. And so before I begin my presentation, does anybody have anything they want to share? Feel free to unmute yourself. I just want to let this be a community gathering versus just me chattering. Okay, let's go. So when I used this book, and I've kind of said this before, like one of the things that I think the energies are raising and the light codes are coming in because you can read something that you've read before or do something that you've done before and you see it with new eyes and you experience it in a new way. So I think I'm going to be exploring and sharing this book with you guys a little bit more because it seems to, well, we'll see if it resonates. So this is a quote from the author. The key to happiness lies in the wisdom within you. And today we're going to discuss, I'm going to offer an overview of what the final initiation is. And I'm going to offer the idea of an astral journey to the place where they did this and the why behind that. And we're going to do 3 things. And the process takes about 10 minutes. We're going to do a heart chakra breathing technique, a solar plexus breathing technique, and then we're going to do the final initiation. And in my understanding, kind of like Douglas's, but I feel like it was priests and priestesses, and this was done in the kings and queens chambers. And if we think about those chambers having star shafts, and we'll get to that in a second, that those were the energetically that's a generator, right? The pyramid. And so it makes sense that if you were in there, and we know that the sarcophagus, you can put a cymoscope on there and play sounds and you get hieroglyphs, right? So there's something about being in that space and the resonance of that space. But there were different groups of people that would, like different schools, and a priest or a priestess would lead a school. And some of these people went into the pyramid to do this rite of passage, but not all of them. They took place at different places. But it was almost, they did an astral journey. It's known that even though everybody, some people were at the pyramid, the place where everybody wanted to be, some people couldn't be there, but they would all astrally go into this place. That's what I'm gonna invite us to do. And it wouldn't be remiss if there wasn't some barking chihuahua. Okay, so the thing to know about this is regardless of what school, this ritual was performed the exact same way, the way that, in my understanding, we're going to do today. And as I mentioned, everybody was said to experience it in the Great Pyramid, regardless of where they were at, which is why I think it's so interesting, because we can also know that we don't have to be in Egypt necessarily to do this too. I tend to think of this as not a final initiation, like final, because I've experienced this a couple times. And I think every time you go through it, you're meeting it with new eyes. So this doesn't have to be the only time that we ever do this, but it's a good time to start to entertain these energies and then see how we feel as a result of these 3 practices. And the ceremony is known to have come to Egypt via Atlantis. And in Atlantis, it was performed in their healing and teaching temples and their healing and teaching pyramids. And in this ceremony, they went inside the pyramids to the king's or queen's chambers. Mostly talked about the king's chambers. They had sandalwood incense. They used a single torch, and they did these 3 exercises. And so before we do this, I just want to give us an overview of what to expect so that you can kind of just just drop in and be in the energy versus having to have me tell you. So we're going to do a heart breathing technique, which is just going to be breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And we're going to be breathing into our lungs and feeling that energy. And the idea here is that there's a universal energy that we're taking into our field, and we're going to be invited to let the heart expand and let our field expand and really just notice what we sense. And then we're going to do the solar plexus breathing, and that's going to be diaphragm breathing. So we're going to be breathing a little bit more deeply. And then when we go into the rite of passage, we're going to be chanting. And I would suggest, if you feel comfortable, to let yourself sound, like make the sound. If not, if somebody's sitting next to you and you don't want to freak them out, then maybe just notice how it feels and try to do it later. In my experience, that was, sound creates everything, right? So if we can make the sound, then we're going to be able to feel it generate through our field. And the sound we're going to be making is AME, aim as in game. And we're going to be doing it in the tone of C, but we're going to be doing it first. We're going to be working with we're going to work with all 7 chakras. We're going to be working with the third eye and the crown and a little bit of the throat for a high C. And so I'll just demonstrate, but you can't really get it wrong. So if regular C is just you with your voice saying aim, it's going to be longer than that. You're going to chant for as long as you can. You're going to just take a deep breath in, and like, if you can, let it rip, or just whatever you're comfortable with. And then we're going to do, so that's middle C, but so just think we're going to do high C, middle C, and low C. So just raise your voice a little bit, aim for high C, and then aim, drop it for low C. You don't need musical practice to get this to be something that you can experience. All right, let's go. So just, if you can, sit comfortably, sit with your spine straight. And bring your awareness to your heart center. And I'm going to invite you to breathe in, take a nice deep inhale, and breathe into your lungs. And as you inhale, connect with your heart center and let that universal energy connect with your heart. And you're going to hold your breath for 5 seconds. And then you're going to exhale through your mouth. And then we're just going to pause for a moment. And you're just going to notice, keep your focus with your heart center. And we're going to do the same thing again. We're just going to breathe in, nice deep breath into the lungs. Feel your chest expand. Send that energy to your heart and hold the breath for 5 seconds. And then exhale. And it's okay to have your eyes open here or closed. There's not a right or wrong way to do this. We're just going to do that same thing one more time. Just bringing energy into the heart. Breathe in and hold it for 5 seconds. And then release that breath. And here, the instruction is to just let your mind wander for a moment, just kind of space out for a second. We're keeping our awareness with our field, but we're also just kind of tuning into understanding energy, feeling it. And then we're going to move to the solar plexus now. And so now go ahead and all the way down to your diaphragm and bring that energy into your rib cage, into your solar plexus, and hold for 5 seconds. And see if you can feel the solar plexus activate, and then exhale through your mouth. And then just pause and be with the energy, notice the energy. And when you're ready, let's inhale again. Nice deep breath down into the diaphragm. Send that universal energy into your solar plexus. Hold it for 5 seconds. And then release that breath through your mouth. Easy exhale. Staying connected to that energy center, connected to your energy field. Noticing what you're feeling. There's no right or wrong feeling. Let's one more time. Breathe in. Nice deep breath into the diaphragm. Send that energy, send that breath into the plexus to activate it, to expand it, and then exhale after you've held for 5 seconds. And then just again, if your eyes are open, just kind of let your vision go to the periphery or just space out for a second. Let your mind wander for a moment. We're not trying to do anything. We're just being in the energy. And now we're going to go to the final Rite. And we're going to start, as I mentioned, with don't worry about getting it right or wrong. You can play with this later, but we're going to do a high C. We're going to do 3 of these, and we're going to be working. You're going to be focusing on your third eye and your crown, but you're probably going to feel your throat a little bit too, because the high C does work with the throat. So take a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, high C. And then just pause and notice what you're feeling in your throat and your third eye and your crown. It's okay if it's feel a little tingly or a little lightheaded, that's fine. We're going to do this next one. We're going to focus and send that tone to the third eye specifically. So when you're ready, breathing in. And I forgot to mention this, but it's already activated. Imagine that you're standing in the king's chamber of the pyramid. So there's a reverberation that's happening with this tone. Notice how you're feeling. Notice if there's any sensation in your third eye, and no is okay, but just stay aware. And then the next breath of high C, final breath of high C, we're going to send it up to the crown specifically. So when you're ready, take a nice deep breath in. Just take a general deep breath. Let yourself sit with these energies. Notice any sensations. Notice anything you see in your mind's eye on how you're feeling. And just be here for a few moments. And now we're going to move to the mid C. So this is just you saying aim with your voice, generally. And we're going to be working in general with the throat, the heart, and the plexus. So you're just going to kind of, in your mind's eye, imagine this tone is being beamed into those spaces, and imagine you're in the king's chamber and the sound is just reverberating, and you're with this group. So this tone is rich. So let's go ahead and take a nice deep breath in. deep breath after that, and just easy breathing. Notice how you're feeling. Notice the energy of those 3 energy centers. Easy breath. And now we're going to focus the same tone specifically to the heart center. So breathing in. After that, take a nice deep breath and an easy breath. And again, it's okay to feel a little lightheaded. You're safe. If you feel the energy raising, you're safe. If you don't worry about it. And now we're going to do the mid-C one more time, and we're going to send that energy to the solar plexus. So breathing in. Take a nice deep breath after that, and then just let yourself breathe easy and notice how you're feeling, what you're feeling. Just kind of be there, bask in that energy, receive it. And now we're going to go to the low C. Just go for a C that is aimed, it's just drop your voice a little bit. And we're going to be working with the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root. So for this first one, we're going to send the low C to the plexus. Breathing in. And then take a nice deep breath. Notice how you're feeling. Notice any energetic sensations. Being in the energy. And now the next one, we're going to take that low C and we're going to send it to the sacral center. So just below your navel. When you're ready, breathing in. Take a nice deep inhale. Notice how you're feeling. Notice anything that comes into your awareness. Just being in the energy. And then the last low C, we're going to send it right to the root chakra. So when you're ready, take a nice deep breath in. Again, deep breath. And then just regular breathing. And that is the final rite. So allow yourself to just, again, be with this experience. And you can open your eyes if and when you're ready. I'm just going to list off in this book, the author lists that this activation enhances our psychic abilities. And he lists out some of these things. And just let the words drift. Clairvoyant abilities to see beyond the normal are enhanced. Clairaudient abilities to hear beyond the normal are enhanced. Clairsentient abilities to feel or sense beyond the normal are enhanced. Creativity is enhanced. Intuitive abilities are enhanced. Empathic abilities are enhanced. Healing abilities are increased. Attunement to the Creator or God source. Awareness of past lives and knowledge from those periods. Soul travel abilities developed or enhanced. Higher vibrations of energy received in the aura and in the chakras. Your higher purpose is understood. And then he writes, some or many of the psychic abilities just mentioned will be fine-tuned. This means that certain gifts or abilities will work at their most efficient level. You will become more psychic and spiritual in nature. This allows you to take control of your own life and master your own future. And now just open your eyes, and when you're ready, attempt to come back to the circle. Notice how you're feeling as you're coming back. And thank you for joining me.